You ever wonder why some moments feel more powerful than others? Not because of what's happening, but because of what's being communicated without words. See, intimacy isn't just physical. It's psychological warfare wrapped in tenderness. And most men have no clue what it really means. They think it's about the body, but to a woman, it's about trust, control, surrender, and energy exchange. It's the one act where vulnerability meets dominance, and the polarity is undeniable. So today we're diving into 5 Stoic psychological truths about what deep intimacy really means to a woman. Not the shallow romanticized stuff, the raw, unspoken reality. Welcome to Stoicism Mastermind. To our legendary subscribers, you are the reason this brotherhood thrives. May you and your loved ones stay safe, strong, and surrounded by love wherever life takes you. If you're new here, like, share, and subscribe because welcome to Stoicism Mastermind. Here, we don't chase validation. We decode human nature. We study psychology, philosophy, and attraction. The kind schools never dare to teach. Let's begin. Truth hash 1. Her tests are not attacks, they're auditions. Truth number 1, it's her test of emotional safety. When a woman becomes intimate with you at that level, it's not just physical permission, it's psychological exposure. That act is her saying, do I trust this man enough to be vulnerable in front of him? You might think it's casual. She never does. Even if she says she does, her body always tells the truth her words can't. Because intimacy without emotional safety feels like betrayal to the feminine psyche. It's not about the act itself, it's about what it symbolizes. If she senses emotional instability in you, anger, insecurity, ego, she'll never fully relax because her deepest instinct is to protect herself from the chaos of a man who can't control his own emotions. And when she does trust you enough to surrender to that moment, it's not lust, it's reverence, a silent acknowledgement of your steadiness, your restraint, your composure. In that moment, she's not obeying you, she's admiring your inner control. That's what most men never understand. Power isn't taken in intimacy. It's granted through safety. But safety alone doesn't create desire. If emotional trust is the foundation, then what builds the tension above it? It's this next one. The most primal form of female psychology that drives attraction itself. Truth hash 2. Emotional stability is her true aphrodisiac. Truth number 2. It's her way of measuring your power. Let's get brutally honest. Attraction is not democratic. It's instinctive. Women don't just feel desire. They evaluate it. In her mind, intimacy is never just a moment. It's a subconscious test of your dominance, composure, and presence under pressure. It's not about control over her. It's about command over yourself. Because when a man stays fully calm, grounded, confident, even in the most intense situations, she feels something most men never give her: certainty. See, the feminine wants to feel safe in the storm, but she also wants to feel the storm. And when your masculine energy carries stillness with intensity, that's when she surrenders, not out of obligation, but instinct. She's not worshiping your body, she's responding to your aura of self-command. Your control turns her chaos into peace. That's why women are drawn to emotionally composed men, because deep down she's not seeking attention, she's seeking gravity. Watch this next. The power of silence. Stoic law of attraction. It explains why your calm presence pulls people, especially women, harder than any words ever could. But this goes deeper because it's not just about power or control. In fact, the next truth has 3. She reads your soul through stillness. Truth flips the script entirely. Sometimes the most powerful man in the room is the one who understands that real intimacy isn't about dominance. It's about mutual surrender. Every woman, consciously or not, is a psychologist. When she's with a man, she reads your tone, your pauses, your breath, your hesitation, and in the most intimate moments, she reads your soul. You think she's reacting to your body, she's actually responding to your energy. Because what you give her in that moment isn't just touch, it's truth. Your authenticity, your control, your intent. Women have a sixth sense for emotional inconsistency. If your words say, I care, but your energy screams, I'm performing, she'll know instantly. This is why Stoic mastery matters more than surface-level confidence. When you are fully present, not needy, not performative, she feels safe to surrender. Not because she's weak, but because your stillness gives her permission to feel. To her, that act is spiritual transparency. It's her saying, show me who you really are when you're not performing for the world. And when she senses composure, that unshakable presence, that's when respect turns into connection. Because to a woman, a man who can control himself is the rarest luxury on earth. But presence isn't enough on its own. You can have the calm of a monk, but if she doesn't feel the danger of your desire, you're just another nice guy with discipline. The feminine doesn't just want peace. She wants passion wrapped in peace. And that's where the next truth hits. The paradox of attraction. Truth hash 4. Controlled danger creates polarity. Truth number 4, it's her craving for controlled danger. Here's what most men don't realize. A woman doesn't fall for chaos, but she is magnetized by controlled chaos. It's why she feels that electric pull toward a man who's calm, but has that edge, the quiet danger, the unspoken heat beneath composure. That energy says, I could lose control, but I choose not to. And that choice is what drives her wild. Because the masculine that can dominate but chooses discipline represents both strength and morality, the duality that keeps her emotionally and physically intrigued. The Stoics called it temporaria, power restrained by wisdom. Modern psychology calls it emotional polarity. She's drawn not to what you do, but to the energy of how tightly you control what you could do. That's why she's fascinated when you hold eye contact a second longer than expected, when you touch her hand, but don't rush the moment, when your silence lingers, confident, unhurried, deliberate. You're not manipulating her, you're communicating through control, you're reminding her you're safe here. But don't forget what kind of man you're with. Check this out next. The dirtiest method for seducing any woman. Dark psychology of Stoicism. It connects perfectly to what you're learning now. How control, silence, and subtle danger create unbreakable attraction. So far, we've uncovered the layers of safety, power, presence, and polarity. But there's one final truth, the deepest one that most men never understand about why intimacy leaves such a lasting mark on both sides. Because beyond the tests and tension, there's something ancient happening beneath it all, a transfer of energy. That's where we're heading next. The final truth, and the most dangerous one. Before we go deeper, don't miss this. Women respect the man who ignores them. Stoic psychology of attraction, it teaches you the same principle from another angle, how emotional restraint fuels curiosity, respect, and desire. Truth 5, intimacy is an exchange of energy, not a transaction. Truth number 5, it's an exchange of energy, not a transaction. Here's the deepest layer. Most men never touch. Intimacy isn't a reward, it's a transfer. In that moment, two nervous systems are negotiating safety, trust, and presence. She isn't thinking about technique, she's feeling the energy you bring into that space. If you're insecure, that energy spreads like smoke. If you're calm, she breathes easier. If you're powerful but kind, she feels both fire and freedom. That's the paradox of polarity. The masculine gives direction. The feminine gives depth. When you combine both, the experience becomes more than pleasure, it becomes recognition. She isn't just responding to your body, she's responding to the frequency of your being, and that's why self-mastery matters. You can't fake energy. If your mind is restless, she'll feel it. If your intent is selfish, she'll close off. But if your presence is clean, rooted, still intentional, she relaxes. Because to the feminine, intimacy isn't about what happens to her. It's about what awakens through her. And that awakening only happens when the man in front of her is fully anchored in himself. That's the real secret. When she gives you that level of closeness, she's not surrendering to your body. She's surrendering to your discipline. And that's why the untrained man always loses her after the act. But the grounded man, she can't stop thinking about him because he left an imprint, not an impression. Final message. So what does all this mean for you? It means attraction isn't built in the bedroom, it's built in your energy before the bedroom. It's not about what you do with her, it's about what you've done with yourself. Master your emotions, refine your intent, and your presence will speak volumes louder than any technique ever could. Let's get these likes up to spread the word because this message deserves to reach every man walking this path. You're part of the Stoicism Mastermind Brotherhood, men who move with power, patience, and purpose. We don't chase approval for how to prepare. We master our energy until the world responds to it. May you and your loved ones stay safe, strong, and surrounded by love wherever life takes you. 5 Stoic truths about intimacy and the feminine mind. 1. Her tests are not attacks, they're auditions. 2. Emotional stability is the true aphrodisiac. 3. She reads your soul through your stillness. 4. Controlled danger creates magnetic polarity. 5. Real intimacy is energy exchange, not performance. So, brother, stop asking what women want and start being what they feel safe around. Because once you master the inner war, every outer battle becomes effortless. Hit like to push this message through the algorithm. Drop a comment which truth hit you hardest, and subscribe to stay aligned with men who live by discipline, not distraction. Watch next. The most dangerous thing a man can do to a woman, stoicism, and masculine power. Because once you understand how power really works, every relationship starts on your terms. Click on the next video because once you understand how energy speaks louder than thin words, you'll never chase